Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of VBS Craft Time. Today we are going to make bags that are woven. So what you're going to need is your pre-cut paper. Should be pre-cut like this, whatever color that you have. And then you're going to need your individual strips here. Then you're either going to want tape or a stapler. I'm going to use tape, but you're welcome to use a stapler, and I'll kind of explain what that would entail as well. Okay? So, all right, now that I have all my materials gathered, I'm going to start out by just taking some pieces of tape, and I'm going to roll them into bubbles so that they're double-sided. This is the way that I find it easiest. You can see that there's a little bubble here. And then I have a glass that I'm just gonna stick those on so that I can make a whole bunch of bubbles just to make things go a little faster. You may have mom or dad help you with these bubbles just so that your whole craft goes faster. Okay. Today's craft comes out of Papua New Guinea. Where they make woven baskets, and they're used to carry anything from groceries to their cell phone to even babies when they're made really strong. And they make them out of reeds, or traditionally they made them out of reeds, but now they usually make them out of yarn or string or different fabrics, still to make them very strong. When we're said and done, they're not going to be as strong as the ones that they would maybe make in Papua New Guinea, but you could probably put something pretty light in there to carry around. Alright, so now that I have some bubbles pre-made up just to make things go a little quicker, I'm going to start by opening up my weave here. Okay, opening up my big piece of paper, and I'm going to start by taking a strip. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to weave in between each one. So I'm alternating so that there should be black and yellow. Okay, so I'm just lifting. So this is how it should look when you have your first one done. And with the tape, what I'm gonna do, I'm just putting it on the bottom of this piece to make it stick. And same with the other side here, but on that underside. And that's just gonna help my weaves stay in place. You can also staple them by just putting a little staple right in there. Okay, there's my first one. I'm gonna pick my next color. Feel free to do whatever color order you want. The design is totally up to you and your creativity here, and what colors you wanna do. So for this second piece, instead of starting on top, I started on bottom so that they're not on the same one. So see how they're kind of checkered? And then I'm gonna do the same thing with my tape. The other option with your tape, I'll show you in just a second. If you didn't wanna make bubbles, like I did, you can just tape it, just take a small piece of tape and put that on there. I'll show you that with this next one. So again, I'm weaving, alternating. This one I started on top. So I've got a nice alternating pattern. And that's what makes this strong, is this weave here, okay? And you want to slide these up as much as you can to get a tighter weave. So if you don't want to do the bubbles, you can just take a small piece of tape and just tape that down just like that. Okay, not too difficult there. Same thing on that other side. We would just tape it. Okay. So keep weaving, keep going. We're trying to fill in all the space that we can. And I'm just continuing to alternate while picking up different colors. Here I have the pink. Okay. Grab a new piece of tape. And we're gonna keep doing this for the whole way. If it's taking you a little bit longer to do the weaves, feel free to pause the video to catch up. But take your time, no rush here. And I'm just adjusting this one just to make it a little tighter and a little straighter. Okay. I think I will use white next. You can also use glue to hold down the strips of paper if you don't have tape or a stapler. Just know that you're going to want to wait for it to dry at the end before we fold it up. Almost done with this first side here. I'm going to see if I can fit one more on. Okay, I might be able to. We're going to go with the purple. So I'm making this on my last weave on this side. Should be a nice fold between your paper that's pre-folded already. So you want to try to make sure you can line it up with that spot. Okay. Alright, so now that I have the first half done, I'm going to move on to the second half. We're doing the same thing here, but I am going to keep going this way so that I can keep this alternating pattern. So we're still alternating here, like so. I actually decided I wanted a color, which is totally fine. You can choose whichever colors you want. Again, sliding that down to the bottom so that it's nice and tight. And then taking my piece of tape and securing both ends. Okay. And then I chose one with not the same color. Keep going, feel free to take a break at any time. It's a a little tedious, but it's gonna be really cool at the end when it's all turns out. So again, sliding it down so that it's nice and tight there. And that just helps. You can see that my squares are a little further apart here and a little tighter at the bottom on that first side that I did. I hope you've been having fun so far at VBS. We've got one more day. I'm excited for our last craft together. Can't wait to see what all your creations have looked like. We've got just a few more pieces left here to keep going with. Oops. Might start getting a little bit more difficult at the end just because the pieces aren't separating quite as much. Now in the second half, I placed the tape in these long strips. I only did the outside, so when I flip it over, I'm gonna need to add more tape on the other side. Just for the sake of time, I only did one side, and hopefully they will stay. All right, I think I'm gonna be able to fit 2 more in here. So it's a little uneven, but that's okay. That's just because I made this side a little bit tighter. Not the end of the world. Oh yeah, I can fit one more in. It looks like, hopefully. Fingers crossed here that I can get. Now if you run into an issue like me where you can almost get it, but it's kind of difficult, you can always ask Mom and Dad for help to kind of cut the slit a little bit more. Okay. So, it's pretty tight for mine. Probably should have chosen a thinner last strip, but that's okay. Either way, this last one might be a little bit difficult just because you are threading through a much tighter space than you have been with the other ones. Hang in there. Almost done with our bag. I'm excited with how mine turned out. I think it turned out really cool. I can't wait to see what yours looks like. There, I got my last one in. Please make tape. Now I'm gonna flip mine over because some of these pieces weren't taped on the other side. So I'm just gonna go through a little piece of tape in there. On each of these, might even just throw a big piece. That'll get a little bit more of it. Oops. So now that my pieces are all secure, I'm gonna double secure some of mine just because I'm not sure how well they're gonna stay. I want them to stay pretty tight on there, okay? So next thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold this in half. Just in half, just like this. And now we want to make sure that this has a nice fold. It might mean that you have to kind of fold the edge of your weave a little bit. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to tape up the sides. Feel free to staple if you want. Feel free to use some duct tape, whatever works. I'm just gonna use my normal Scotch tape, and all I'm doing, I'm actually gonna do this a little bit differently. So I'm gonna kind of use half of here and then fold it over so it creates a nice edge. And we're just taping up the whole side. I would leave a little bit of space at the top because you want to be able to open the bag. You don't want it to be too tight. So I still want to be able to kind of open it. Maybe even leave a little space at the bottom. Play around. Same thing on the other side. I'm just taping this side up. And folding my tape over. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. It might be kind of fun if you use some like colorful duct tape, if you have any of that at home. So now that I have my bag that I can open here, I'm actually gonna take, I have 2 strips left. I'm not sure if you do or not, or I have 3 strips left. I do want to save one of these. So I'm gonna pick the black one. Actually, yeah, you wanna save both. So we're gonna use both. So I'm gonna use a black and a yellow for my strap. I'm gonna save that brown for another day. And for my strap, I don't know how well, I'll show you with the yellow one first. I'm gonna secure this tab here, piece of tape. Okay. So to do that, for me, it's easier to put the tape on here first and then secure that tab. With the other one, I'm just looping it so I have a nice loop, and I'm wanting to put it in about the same spot on both sides. So I have 4 squares open, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So actually I want to put this on the 3 so that I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on both sides, so that's nice and even. Feel free to make them as wide or as narrow as you want. And to make these a little bit more supportive, you might add a little bit more tape. Again, you can staple here, you can use duct tape, you can use glue. Glue is going to be the least sturdy in terms of it not falling apart. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This time I have black. I'm going to put it in the same spot. So putting my tape on my edge, placing it in the same spot so that it lines up, curling it in like so, and securing it with tape. Okay. Oops. Securing it down with tape. Feel free, if you have more construction paper at home, you can decorate up the sides, fold those down if you want, color your creation, do whatever you want. I really like the just natural weave. And now I can open my bag up and, I don't know, maybe place my phone in, see if that holds or not. Oh, that holds pretty well. So now you have a nice little woven bag. I hope you had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making our woven bags out of Papua New Guinea. And I look forward to our last craft day tomorrow.